Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Meet Praneet. In today's video, I'm going to answer some of the frequently asked questions around EB-1. These are the questions that I had and I have gathered over the time. So I hope you'll enjoy this video, so watch it till the very end. So the very first question on the list is, can I qualify for EB-1 green card? And let me show you the list as well. So as you might have seen, there are 15 or so questions. It could be a little long video, but I hope you'll enjoy it till the very end. So to answer the very first question, that is, can I qualify for EB-1? It depends from profile to profile, from individual to individual. I think the best way is to go through your profile and see how many criteria you meet that USCIS has set forth. And if you think you're meeting 3 out of 10 for EB-1A or 2 out of 6 for EB-1B, then this is the time that you should go and start contacting the immigration attorney, discuss your profile with them, and see where you stand. And I hope that on the discussion you find out that your profile is strong, you have great achievements, and you have met all the criteria, and you'll be able to file for EB-1. So the next question is, how to tailor my profile to qualify for EB-1? Now let me start with saying that EB-1 is one of the toughest green card categories to crack. And it has USCIS has set forth the criteria. You have to qualify for a certain number of criteria, and you have to also show to USCIS that you are in the top of your field. Now, how to tailor the profile is, the first step is to find out how many criteria you meet and what are the criteria that you can work on and can meet in the future. For example, let's say if you have not done any peer review, you can plan that and start doing peer reviews for journals so that you can qualify for that criteria. The other example could be, let's say you have not published a research paper or you have not written any book chapters, but this is something that you can do while you're working in your field. And if it's possible, I would advise you to go and start doing that so that you can start accumulating more criteria. So I think, yeah, it takes time. For me, it took me almost 9 years to build that profile. For some people, in Chantanu's case, for example, it was 10 years. For my other friend, again, it was more than 10 years. So it's a long process. But if you work for it from the very beginning, it would definitely become very easy. The next question is how to get my profile evaluated, or how to make sure whether I qualify for EB-1 or not. Now, this is a very good question, and there are different ways of doing this. One way is that you self-evaluate your profile and you start building your EB-1 application. The other way that I generally recommend to people is try contacting different immigration attorneys. There are a lot of different immigration attorneys who offer free evaluation of your profile. And what they do is they'll go through your CV and they'll tell you whether you fit the EB-1 criteria or is there some things that you need to work on. So I think the best way is to start contacting immigration attorneys. They might charge you for those evaluations. Sometimes they are free. So go ahead, contact them and find out what's the best path for you and get your profile evaluated. The other thing is, sometimes people contact me on LinkedIn and I try my best to help them answer some questions that they have. But as I'm not an experienced attorney and I'm not an attorney by profession, so I might be not the best person to answer some of the questions. That's why consulting an immigration attorney might be the best way to move forward to understand how your profile stands and where exactly it stands. So the next question is, what are the different steps in EB-1? So EB-1 is comprised of 2 steps. The first part of the process is filing an I-140 petition. And once your I-140 is approved, then you can go ahead and file your I-485 petition, which is also known as adjustment of status. Now, in the first part, it takes around 5 to 6 months to build that documentation, evidence, write all the legal draft, get all the evidence compiled together and file it. And if you go for premium processing, you'll get your response in 15 calendar days. And once you have got your let's say a petition approved, then you can start filing your I-485, which should not take more, probably take around 2 months to get all the documentation, get your medicals done, and then file it with USCIS. Now the fifth question is sperm certification, labor certification needed for EB-1? The answer is no. EB-1 in any of the criteria that in any of the categories that EB-1 has, like EB-1A, EB-1B or C, none of them require you to go through perm certification or labor certification. So yeah, no worries in that. You just have to file your I-140. Once it's approved, you go to the next step, which is adjustment of status. So a lot of people also ask this question that, can I file EB-1 on my own? And the answer is yes, you can file EB-1 application on your own. You can file both the steps on your own. You can file your I-140, and once it's adjudicated, you can go to the next step and file your I-485. However, I generally suggest people to go through immigration attorneys because they are more experienced in this, and they know how to write the legal draft, how to build the profile, and how to fit evidences together. But if you feel confident and if you know that you can do this, why not? You'll save a lot of money. So the next question is kind of related to the previous question, and it is, how much is the cost to file EB-1 with an attorney? Now, it depends from attorney to attorney, but in general, I would say the ballpark figure is somewhere around $10,000 to $12,000. And I think that comprises of both the stages. So I think the first half, $6,000 would be, or $5,000 would be for EB-1 I-140 petition, and the rest of the money would go for your next part of the process, which would be 485 application. But again, it depends from the attorney to attorney, and you are not restricted to work with the attorney in your region. You can contact any attorney in the US, if they offer you good price, and if they understand your case really well and they're willing to file your case, yeah, go for it. But in general, what I have seen is the cost ranges somewhere around $10,000 to $12,000. Okay, so the next question is how to tackle RFE. I know RFEs sound really scary, right? Because it seems that USCIS is after you with a lot of questions. But I think it's a positive sign, as I have said in my previous videos. That means the USCIS is kind of looking into your case, they're actively reviewing your case. So what you should do is, once you receive your RFE, I think that then USCIS mentions all the points that they have questions on, and they also give you a date by which you have to reply to all the comments that they have. So I would suggest that go through your RFE very carefully. I think your attorney, if you're filing with your attorney, they will receive a copy as well. So you can both work together to make sure you have all the comments answered, all the questions answered, all the evidence is submitted on time. However, if you file on your own and you got an RFE and you're not sure how to respond to it, I would still suggest contact some immigration attorneys. They might have a slot where they can have you as a client and help you figure out the RFE. So it's definitely very important to read the RFE very carefully and respond to all the items that USCIS has raised a question on. Okay, so the next question is something that I've been asked a lot of times, and a lot of people think that it's kind of a necessity. So let me ask the question first, and it says, should I enroll in PhD program to help my EB-1 profile? Now, what I generally tell people is that PhD is something that you do out of passion, right? If you have a passion and you're committed to doing it, then go for it, do it. It takes a lot of time. It takes around 5 to 6 years to complete your PhD. And if you think that is something you always wanted to do, then go for it, do it. It will definitely help you in the building of your profile. However, just doing PhD because it will help, I don't think that's a good idea, because you can file EB-1 with an advanced degree like master's. So I think building profile, working on your profile is very important. And if you think PhD can help you, go for it. But again, because it requires passion, commitment, and time, so be sure that you are ready for it. So another question that I'm asked a lot is how much time it takes to file EB-1. Now it depends. In my case, I think it took me 6 months to gather all the evidence, provide it to the attorney, and then they wrote the legal draft and got everything together and then filed it with the USCIS. And I think it probably took around 6 months. But it depends case to case and attorneys to attorneys. Some people are really fast. They're very quick in getting all the evidence. Some might have already gathered all the evidence and is just pushing it to the attorney to get everything done. So yeah, in general, I would say 4 to 6 months is what I have seen, and it generally takes people to file EB-1 I-140. Once your I-140 is approved, for I-485, it takes around 1 to 2 months, because again, if you have to get all your evidences, you have to file the form I-485, go through it, so make sure that there's no mistakes, and then could get everything in together and then mail it to USCIS. So in general, I would say it would take around 4 to 6 months for EB-1 I-140 and 1 to 2 months to file your 485. Again, it all depends on how many documents you have, all the evidence is ready, and how much time would it take for you to gather evidence, right? Okay, so the 11th question is, can I file EB-1 while being on F1 OPT or J1 visa? Now, let me start by saying that if you're on H1 or L1, I think you can go ahead and file your EB-1 without any issues. With F1 OPT, I think some people recommend that it's not a good thing, but I have a friend, Simarjot, who filed EB-1B while on F1 OPT. And I've seen people filing EB-1 from J1, but you have to make sure that you don't require J1 waiver. If you require J1 waiver, then you'll have to get that first before even proceeding to EB-1 application. But yes, I think for if you're on F1 OPT or J1, you can file EB-1 from both these different visa sets. However, I would recommend to consult with an immigration attorney, because sometimes there are things in your case that they need to know before telling you if you're eligible to file. So yeah, make sure you consult with an immigration attorney. And yeah, from my understanding and my experience, I think you should be able to file if you're on F1 OPT or J1. So the next question is, how many times can I file EB-1? Well, there is no limit. You can file as many times you want. USCIS doesn't have any restrictions on the number of times you can file EB-1. And the other very popular question is, can I file for EB-1A and EB-1B at the same time? And the answer is yes. You can file for as many categories as you want at the same time. So you can file in EB-2, EB-5, EB-3, EB-1, all at the same time. And there is no problem doing that. USCIS takes each application as a separate case, and they'll educate it based on the evidence you have provided. Okay, so the 14th question on the list is, does processing center matter in approval rate? And well, I'm not sure how to answer this question. I have heard people saying that Texas has a better approval rate than Nebraska. Some people say the otherwise, but I'm not very sure about it. I think if you're confident in your profile and if you have met all the criteria, I think then it all depends on the USCIS officer who is working on your case. I don't think there is any approval rate differences between Nebraska, Texas, and so on and so forth. I think be confident on your profile. What you can do is you can make a profile, you can build that profile, you can file the case, and yeah, just leave it there. Apart from that, you can't do anything else, right? But what you can do is you can make your profile very, very strong before you file. So if you have a strong case, I don't think there should be any problem. But yeah, I really don't know if there's any differences between the approval rate. And the last final question for today is, does EB-1 gets preference while I-485 is in progress? I think so, because USCIS also mentions that the first set of visas are allotted to EB-1, and then the spillover goes to EB-2, and so on and so forth. But I'm not very sure about this question, so I would rather not comment on it. But I think any attorney or immigration attorney should be able to answer this question for you. But yeah, I think it should be preferred, but I'm not very sure about it. Well, these were all the 15 questions that I had that I wanted to talk about and discuss with you guys. And if you're liking the content, then please like, share, and subscribe. And I have received few messages on LinkedIn from previous videos, and I'd really appreciate that. I would definitely try my best to talk to each one of you and help you out. And yeah, if you're liking the content, as I said, please share it with your friends, family, and colleagues so that the channel grows. And yeah, and if you're liking the content, then please do subscribe, and also hit that bell icon so that whenever there is a new video, you'll be notified right away. And my aim is to deliver videos every week, Friday at noon EST. However, sometimes because of work and other things, I might not be able to, but I'll try my very best to deliver the videos to you guys by Friday, 12 p.m. EST. So I'll see you in the next video very, very soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, take care.